This video is all about why you should or shouldn't buy a Mitsubishi Delica to travel around Australia. G'day, my name's Mick. In 2018, I sold everything and left the city life behind me to go on a big adventure around Australia. Many years later, and I'm still living my dream, exploring the country in my four-wheel drive van called Gypsy and fishing. Till this day, I still know that leaving the Matrix life behind me was the best move I've ever made. Join me for the ride as I live with the ultimate freedom. Why did I choose this vehicle? Good question. I chose a Mitsubishi Delica to tour around Australia and live out of it full time because I believe it is the best balance between off-road capabilities and comfort. There's other options too. If you don't need a four-wheel drive van, do not buy a Delica. There are so many better four-wheel drive options out there. In Australia, the most well-known, most trusted four-wheel drive vehicles are Toyotas. The majority of farmers and mine sites use Toyotas, specifically the Land Cruiser. Owning a Mitsubishi in the outback, if you don't know what you're doing, can be a real pain in the butt. There are mechanics that will not work on them. Parts aren't everywhere. And so if you're not mechanically minded, if you're not on top of your servicing, if you're not regularly checking your fluids, your oils, your coolant lines, and so on, then you're probably better off buying a Toyota. When people ask me what vehicle should I buy to live out of, to travel around Australia in, I'll usually recommend them a Toyota, either the Hiace, Land Cruiser, or Hilux. The only time I recommend a Delica is when you can answer these two questions correctly. One, do you really need a very capable four-wheel drive van? And are you mechanically minded? In other words, do you like to do your own servicing? Is it a bit of a hobby of yours? Are you a mechanic? Are you interested in doing all your own servicing and repairs and maintenance? If you answer yes to those two questions, then you should probably buy a Mitsubishi Delica. Because the truth is, when you're in outback Australia, when you're out of the big cities, not a lot of mechanics, if any, want to even touch your Mitsubishi Delica because they're used to working on Toyotas. The farmers, the mines, they're all using Toyotas. They're all using Land Cruisers. They don't, and Hiluxes. They don't even have supplies to get half the parts for these Mitsubishi import vehicles. It's a headache for them. They can't be bothered. They've got heaps of work already, and they don't want to be mucking around with stuff that they're not used to doing. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. Same goes with European vehicles, you know. A lot of these Sprinters and Renaults and so on, they don't want to touch them. They don't want to look at them. If you're in a city, if you live in a city, if you're in Brisbane, Melbourne, Gold Coast, Sydney, whatever, you can buy a Delica, you can go on your holidays, your trips and stuff. That's all good because there are mechanics around there that know how to work on these and can get parts easily. There's two great workshops, probably the two best workshops in the whole country for working on Delicas. Delica Garage, Brisbane and Geelong. I've been to both of them. I know both the guys there. They're awesome. If you live near those guys, you're in a lot of luck because they'll be able to sort out any of your issues, any parts, anything you need, they've got you covered. But for traveling around Australia, doing what I like to do, being in outback Australia, the NT, WA, you name it, and you're nowhere near those workshops, you can't just pop in, you really need to know your vehicle well because you could very easily get stranded somewhere. And other thing about leaving your vehicle in the outback is, and I'm sure if you've traveled around Australia, you've seen it, if you leave your vehicle somewhere for more than a couple of days and you haven't got it towed for whatever reason, chances are it's already been broken into and all the good stuff taken. All right, even your wheels. So if you want a Delica and you're not going to be around decent workshops, sort your own shit out. So, are Mitsubishi Delicas unreliable vehicles? No, they're not. They're actually very well engineered Japanese vehicles. Parts are not overly expensive, and they are readily available if you know where to look. They're just not as well engineered or as reliable as a Toyota. So, why did I choose it? Because I love doing mechanical work. I do all my own servicing and maintenance. And two, I really needed a four-wheel drive van that's very capable and has plenty of comfort. There's a lot of space in this van. It's very comfortable to drive. It's very good off-road. It works for me. What other four-wheel drive vans are there on the market? There's not a lot of options here, guys. Apart from your Delica, you have your Toyota Hiace 4x4. The older ones come with a low-range gearbox, which is awesome. So you can do a fair bit of four-wheel driving, a fair few tracks, beach driving and so on with the Hiace 4x4. That is a great option if you're not doing really hard tracks. Then a Hiace 4x4 is great because it's a Toyota for starters, okay? A lot of the parts are interchangeable with the other Toyotas. You know, it's the same, they use the same motors as the Hiluxes and even your two-wheel drive Hiaces. You can get parts easily, but they don't flex as well. They don't have a lot of travel. They don't have a lot of clearance. The motors are great. The motor's a strong point there, but they're not gonna take you absolutely everywhere that the Delica does, okay? The other option is a Toyota Land Cruiser Troopcarrier, which is a great option. If you don't need as much space, as much comfort, and the high roof of a Delica, you can get a Land Cruiser Troopcarrier. If you really wanted to, you could always put a roof extension on it. You would have seen the high top Land Cruisers going around. They've got a fiberglass roof extension. That means you can stand up in them and have a little kitchen in there and walk around a bit. Me personally, I don't want a roof that high. I've had high roof four-wheel drives before, like my Iveco Daily 4x4. It was 3.2 meters high. It was very comfortable. It was great for two people. I had Jody with me at the time, but I don't want that. I don't want to have all that top heaviness. What other vans have we got? Okay, Mercedes Sprinters 4x4 and other similar four-wheel drive vans. These guys are okay if you want to do just a little bit of off-road stuff. Your dirt tracks, gravel roads, corrugated roads, a little bit of four-wheel driving, a bit of beach driving, but nothing too hectic, nothing too undulating, nothing that you need much flex for, because these vehicles, they've got a very long wheelbase and they're not very high, so they can very easily scrape and get stuck. This brings us to the next option, and that is four-wheel drive trucks. For example, my last truck was a Iveco Daily 4x4. It's got the size, it's got the longer wheelbase, but it's a lot higher. It's got heaps of clearance. It's got really flexible suspension. The thing flexes. It has front and rear diff lockers. It was amazing off-road. It was one of the most capable four-wheel drives on the market, up there with, say, a Mercedes Unimog, and then you have other ones too, like Mitsubishi Canter, Isuzu's four-wheel drive as well. These vehicles are great. If you need something with a lot more payload, a lot more capability, and the clearance that you need to go pretty much anywhere, then these vehicles are really good. Yes, they're a lot more expensive, but you can carry more, you can tow more, you can still go places. Guys, I hope this video helped you to come closer to making your decision about what four-wheel drive van to buy. In my next few episodes, I'm going to do specifics on the motor, the 4M40 motor, which is the turbo diesel, which I have. The problems, the main problems, fixes, and also I'll do a complete walk around on the exterior and mechanical and all the modifications of my vehicle. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. See you in the next episode.